Hello, hello, everyone. I'm so excited. It's going to be fun. We're going to wait just a couple more minutes because people keep popping on here, and we're going to keep getting these ding dongs. So we'll just give it a second and let everyone settled in. So I do have everyone on mute right now just to eliminate background noise and all that kind of stuff, but we will be interacting today. So for those of you who've never used Zoom before, the unmute button is in the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom window. So let's just keep it muted while we are not speaking, just to eliminate that background noise. But if you do want to speak up at any given time, then that's how you go ahead and do that. So excited to see some new faces and some familiar faces in here. I don't do these very often, and we always keep them very, very, very small. We had about 18 to 20 people signed up today. Usually, you know, if any of you guys have ever done live trainings before, you know, 20 to 25% usually show up. So it looks like we've got about as many as we're going to get. I like to keep it small so that we can keep things moving, but also so that we can discuss and we can really get into things. So awesome. I am going to start. Looks like we are already in record mode. So let me just pop this off over to the side here and we'll get going. All right, guys. So quick agenda for you today. I'm going to walk you through a bit of a discussion. So very first, I want to hear from everybody. What is it that you sell? Anna, I know you. And Ashley, I know you. So I know kind of what you guys are selling, but just so that everyone sort of is on the same page. And for the rest of you who are new to me, I think some of you guys might have come through Tasha even. Yeah, okay. So awesome. So I'm Tasha's coach, and that's probably how you heard about me through her podcast and things like that. But we'll talk a little bit then about what it is that you sell, what's hard about selling. So we'll get into a bit of that discussion. Then we're going to walk you through the 5 core areas that you need in your business to excel if you want to create consistent sales and profit. So we're going to kind of take a look at those pillars for you. Then we're going to break down each of those 5 core areas, and we're going to determine which projects you need to build out in your business so that at the end of our time together, you're going to have a clear and focused project plan for 2018, okay? So that's the goal of today's session, is really creating this 2018 project plan for creating that selling system in your business. Now, this is not a teaser webinar. It's not a marketing webinar where I'm going to tell you kind of like what you need to do, but then not how to do it so that I can tell you a program at the end. You're going to get really specific projects here that you need to do in order to make all of this happen. Okay. And at the end of the call, with your permission, I will share with you how you can discover a little bit more about how we can work together further in the new year. But that is not something that you need to sign up to do in order to benefit from what we're going to discuss today. So everyone cool with that? Awesome. And I'll let you know when that's going to happen so that if you're just completely not interested, you can just pop off and you don't have to waste your time with that. Cool? All right, so let's kind of go around the room here, and I just want to get a clear idea of what everybody is selling. So let's go kind of one by one here, and just let me know, just do a quick introduction, who you are, what you do, and then what it is that you sell. So Anna, do you want to start? You want to start us off? Awesome. I'm going to unmute you. Oh, I think we just unmuted at the same time. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think I muted myself. So Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Dabrowski. So what I do is I help people which are struggling, which are emotional, to find the strength and confidence to gain the successful approach in life, whether this is due to emotional trauma, anxiety, panic attacks, or any kind of stressful situation, to become successful in all areas of their life. So it can be in health, it can be in their business. I use different modalities to do this, but generally this is what I do.
Awesome.
So I help people excel in their lives.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. How people excel in their lives. And what is the, if you don't mind sharing, if you guys don't want to share this, that's totally cool. But what is the price point that you're selling at for your different packages?
I have 3 packages, and the first package is just a simple one session. It's like a tester, teaser, or just to get to know me, and that price is $249. My second program, which is a 6 weeks emotional freedom program, goes for $799. And the 90 days emotional freedom program, that's the one we can really deep, very deeply into the trauma and the past and neutralize things. This one goes for $17.99.
$17.99. Awesome. Awesome. The reason I'm asking you guys is because I want to be able to make sure that we're really speaking to the different investment levels. If people are selling at, $50, it's going to be a little bit different. All of the components will be the same, but a little bit different than somebody selling at $25,000, right? So awesome. Thanks so much for sharing, Anna. I'm going to mute you back up here. Sarah, hi. How are you?
I'm Sarah DeGroff. I am in West Virginia in the United States. I sell doTERRA essential oils, and I've been in 5 years.
Awesome.
And our most popular, most common essential oil starter sets are either $150, $275, or $550. And there are other sets, but those are kind of the most common ones.
Awesome.
Most of our long-term income comes from ongoing purchases from customers.
So most of your income comes from the LRP program that you guys offer, right? Okay.
Yes, and I did find you through Tasha.
Yes, awesome. So I know a lot about doTERRA because of Tasha, so you all can blame her for that. Okay. Awesome. Carrie, Carrie, what about you? Oh, there you go. Oh, we just unmuted at the same time. I keep doing that to people.
That's okay. My name's Carrie Larned. I'm in California, and I also sell doTERRA as my main business. So, yeah, just exactly like Sarah.
Exactly the same thing? All right, cool. Did you also come through Tasha? Did Tasha share my post or something? Something happened.
No, I mean, I've been with Tasha since the beginning. I was one of her peeps. So, yeah. Okay. I think just from podcasts, and we've followed you, we hear a lot about you, Heather.
Oh no. I'm going to have to call her after this and be like, what have you been telling people? Awesome. Thank you. Ashley, hi, how are you?
Hello. Hi, I'm good. So I am primarily a coach. I used to do a lot of in-person teaching. My business has really transformed a lot since I became a mom. And I am now looking to go from the one-on-one coaching to group coaching. So that's primarily why I'm here. And I'm sort of looking for a lot of direction because I haven't really done group coaching before. I love creating online programs. I have a lot of online programs. And I'd also like a lot of help selling them.
We want to sell them. Awesome.
Yeah, so that's where I am.
Cool. And so what price points are you looking to sell the group coaching? Are they going to be like small mastermind, high value? Is it sort of like low ticket, high volume? Where is it that you want to go and want to see?
Well, that's what I would like to speak with you about because I have a lot of meat to add to the package to up the value. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's a great choice. I sort of have a lot of questions. Okay. I'm not sure. I don't have an answer to that really yet. I've thought a lot about it. So I'm ready to do any direction, but I want your brilliance to help me choose what the best direction is, knowing the time that I have to offer them.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, we'll definitely be going through core offer today. So that will help you to sort of, trim that up just a little bit. And for those of you selling physical products, so for Sarah, for Carrie, that is also going to help you as well, because we're going to actually, what you're going to want to focus on in core offer is that LRP core offer, sort of that long standing relationship, not that initial kit purchase, right? And you'll see how this will also work for recruiting and things like that too. So thanks, Ashley.
And can I just say, and you're probably familiar with this, but just a thought on it. While essential oils are a physical product, we actually are selling Hope in a bottle that actually works, but like all these little brown bottles look alike. And if it wasn't for what it can bring them, even though it's a tangible product, they're buying the destination, not the flight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's super, super, super important. What you're going to find in the differentiation that I want you to make when we get into core offer, though, is that you're not manufacturing your product, right? Like you have products that you sell, whereas, you know, Anna and Ashley and Lorraine, Shanette, I see you coming in here too, that they're all sort of creating their offer right from the get-go. So we'll show you how to use that depending on where you're at. Lorraine, how about you? So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and your offers. Mute's on the bottom. There you go. There you go.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see some familiar faces. And I have a little bit of a scratchy laryngitis leftover voice. I am a coach in the luxury creative market, and very specifically because I've been selling luxury advertising for 9 years and giving advice to people. What I do is I do one-on-one coaching to luxury people looking to up level. So it could be I do visual branding. I help them with their websites, their packaging. Anything that people can see and touch is something that I do. My background, it's a long background. I'm an old broad, but it's everything from whether I was at Donna Karan, I was in publishing, I was in jewelry. So the vendors I'm looking to work with, I love working with creative vendors because they could be wedding planners. I'm going on and on, but that's basically what I do. I take a look initially at their website, their storefront, and I talk to them about their brand, and I help people up level. Right now I'm working with a yachting person, yachting designer. I'm working with someone from the Polo Club here whose website, don't tell them, but it looks like the Chamber of Commerce. And they're wondering why their members are only willing to spend a couple $100. So that's what I do, is figure out the breaks in the chain. I do have 3 packages that I offer. I'm willing to share my pricing if you want to know what it is.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Initially it started out a lot higher because I have a colleague I had been working with, and I want to start smaller because it's putting too much pressure and it felt wrong to me. For 2 hours, I charge $4.97.
Okay.
I charge for 4 hours, and it could be over a month or 2 months, $19.97. Okay. And for 6 hours, $29.97. Most of the people that I'm coaching will say, can I buy you for 2 more hours? And I give them a bit of a break. Can I buy you for this? Now, I do have a question that's a dilemma, and you can just, Heather, leave it in the background. Somebody said to me, can you help me with just some photos for my website? And I said, what would you charge me? And I said, I had to think about it. My hour is worth the same whether I'm mowing your lawn or whether I'm doing your Instagram photos. I mean, I'm not the kind of person that's going to post on someone's Instagram. You can get somebody for $15 an hour, a younger person, to do that. You're wasting your money on me for that. I'm more big picture, niche market. What's your niche? What's the break in the chain? Where is the break in your sale? So that's kind of, what I do, but I went off on a tangent. I'm sorry. It's
okay.
This is
really cool.
Hi, Ashley.
That's totally cool because that's kind of like going into the next thing. So I see a few people here without video on. If any of you guys, so Tammy, Shanette, Marcy, if any of you guys are here and want to let us know what it is that you do, what is it that you're selling, so that I can help to tailor some of the conversation towards you, go ahead and unmute yourself. And Marcy says, sure. Awesome. So go ahead and unmute yourself, Marcy, and let us know what it is that you do.
Hi, ladies. I'm sorry you can't see me. My work computer isn't being very kind.
Okay.
But it's great to be here. Thank you for welcoming me. My name is Marcy Bryant, and I'm an inbound marketing specialist. I help customers figure out how to digitize their businesses and to sell their services online with a multimedia strategy.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Is this the Marcy that I met in Florida at Millionista Live?
It sure is, Marcy B.
Awesome. I as soon as I heard the voice, I recognized you. So without the video.
So here's what's crazy. I just got let go of my job, and my last day is tomorrow. And my Millionista Live, all my videos, my SD card fell out of my phone and got stuck in my boyfriend's car in between like the seat and the midsection. And so he literally just got it out yesterday, and I haven't even had a chance to review anything from Millionista Live. So I was like, and I need to follow up with Heather because she's the FB guru. And then you decided to have this, and I was like, Jesus is on my side.
The stars are aligning.
Yes.
Perfect. So, Marcy, what is your offer? And if you'd like to share kind of the price point so that I can help to tailor to the different price points that are on the call.
You know what? I don't even have a specific offer right now, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm still again, I was supposed to be building all this stuff, but I haven't. But I'm pretty sure what I'm going to be doing is helping people out with their marketing strategy, put together the multimedia marketing strategy.
Okay, awesome. I love it. So the very first part of the call, we're going to go through the core offer project anyway, so that's really going to help you. It's going to help Ashley get that clarification around what that core offer looks like.
Yes.
Awesome. So Tracy, Tammy, Shanette, anyone else want to hop on? I'm not sure if you're here, if you're kind of doing something, popping in and out, but if you want to hop on. Hey, Tracy.
Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Unfortunately, I just had a client call that I need to call them back really quick, but
No.
I on and participate. Will there be a replay of the beginning by any chance? Or?
Yeah, I will. This is recording, so I'll send it out. It might be tomorrow by the time I have time to do that today, but or maybe this evening.
Oh no worries. I'm just glad you're recording it.
Awesome.
I'm excited. Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So Shanette, Tammy, if you guys want to hop on, go ahead and unmute yourself. And if not, we're going to move into the next piece here. So Shanette has maintenance guys working. Hey, how are you?
Hey, good. So I'm sorry. I apologize if it's every now and then you're going to hear guys talking in the background.
All good. We'll mute you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm late. I was on a client call. So for me, what I do is I help consultants and agencies turn chaos into processes and processes into systems. So basically, I help them with automation. And as far as my offer, I'm still working on my offer. Heather, you know about that. Yeah, so I'm still working on that right now, but it's gonna be around having a full build out from start to finish, whether that's from helping them with their create their workflows all the way through to creating metrics and everything around that, or just having a section that's just for bots, artificial bots, messenger bots. So
awesome. I love it. I love the bots. The bots are so fun. Thanks, Shanette.
Thank you.
So Tammy, if you want to pop on, if not, I'm gonna move forward here. Just give you a second. Okay. All right. So guys, this is going to be more of a free for all. So go ahead and just unmute yourself when you have something to say. But I want to ask you guys, what is hard about selling? What's been hard for you?
May I speak?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do take a course with a business coach that's trying to help me get Laura. You know Laura.
Yeah.
Getting me past the hurdle. I still stumble on feeling, I know what I do is valuable because if I give a few tidbits, it can change the dynamic of someone's business. And I'm not being immodest. I have a very narrow, defined area of what I'm very, very good at. But I still have a self-worthiness issue with asking for money, being quiet when I give the pricing, and also peppering the conversation with it so they're not having sticker shock at the end. I've been selling advertising for many years, and even in advertising, when I'm dealing with an individual versus a director of sales where it's impersonal, I have a hard time with it. I'm being very honest with it. This is a challenge for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Absolutely. And I think that that's a big challenge for a lot of people, especially when it goes from selling something to selling yourself, right? Like it becomes even more personal, that rejection, when all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, now I'm selling myself. And thanks, Tracy, I see your comment there. So I'm kind of reading that in between and trying to make sure I'm paying attention to both, but that's awesome. So what else? I saw Anna, I saw Ashley, you guys have
it's that I agree with Lauren. I deliver such a transformation for my clients, and I know how I can change their lives. And that's not a problem. But then when it comes to the price, it's like when they cringe the face, oh, that's so much. You know, it's just kind of like, how to really pass this, okay? Because I have no doubt I can help them, okay? And I have no doubt, and that's not a problem. I can talk about the process and deliver value. But when it comes to the price, it's like, you know, I will say the price, and the moment they cringe, I feel, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose them, and I can really help them. And I'm addicted to seeing people transforming, you know, and being successful. So I don't want to let them go, because I know that if they go, they will struggle. They will continuously struggle, and everything is going to be the same.
Yeah.
And the other part is that my goal is I want to transform to more online programs. I have tremendous experience on one-on-one. And amazing results. So, but it's one-on-one. It's still, my day has only 24 hours. So I would like to go into the automated programs too.
Yeah, awesome. So you're in the same boat as Ashley there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Ashley, what about you?
So I, for a lot of years, have been working with highly sensitive people and empaths. And I have found over and over again that I attract people who have a very lack mentality, which I can help them with. However, it's harder to get them to purchase the high-end programs. So I've done a lot of repositioning of my language, my copy within my business, into, instead of being a transformational coach for the emotions, to work on rewiring the brain and working on mindset. And I do believe it's helping, but my issue that I'm running up against is when I target entrepreneurs who are, you know, success driven, and I'm so good at helping them with mindset, then they want like business strategy instead of mindset. Mm-hmm. And so I struggle with that, because then I can get them into my programs, and then I get them into coaching, and then they want business support. And I'm like, well, I can do that, but that's not my zone of genius. So I'm sort of struggling with, I think it's a language shift so that I target the right people, but I'm not sure. That's why I'm here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it sounds like a little bit of clarity in messaging, but a little bit also in that seeing the value and building the value, which is similar to what Laureen and Anna had mentioned as well. Like, how do we sort of transform them into this higher dollar value, into really knowing and trusting that they're going to see the results from this. And part of that too comes from, so I always say the root of objections comes down to one of two things, right? Either they aren't 100% sold on you, okay? So either they aren't 100% sold that your offer is the thing that they need in order to move forward, which is what we all kind of go to. But it could also be that they're not 100% convinced that they can do what they need to do in order to move the ball rolling and move that ball forward, right? And so if they don't trust themselves, there's almost like this intervention that we need to do with them, because here's the thing, right? If they had that full trust in themselves, there are lots of other people who do what we do, right? There's nobody really who is 100% unique in what it is that they offer. There's lots of other people who are doing what you're doing. So if that person wasn't fully ready, if they aren't fully trusting in themselves, then, you know, this is why they haven't bought already from somebody else, right? And so we definitely want to talk a little bit today about how do we find what I like to call the 5-star clients. And part of the 5-star clients is that they're motivated to take action now. Okay. Marcy, I see you're unmuted. What's part of it selling?
I think for me, the hardest part about selling is because I've got so much experience and know so many different things about marketing that I get people who who ask me about doing things all the time, and just really dialing down and having a very limited set of things that I offer and only offer. And I'm okay with telling people no if they ask for me for anything outside of that. And then the other half of that is I keep running into people with champagne dreams and beer budgets. They have all these great ideas for how they like their business to progress. And then when I tell them that nothing moves without the money, they get nervous. Why are you even talking to a business person if you have no interest in investing in your business?
Yes.
So I need my dream customer who has these visions, but actually has the resources to make them come to fruition.
Okay. So we also need to weed out some of the ones who just aren't really ready to buy right now, or they don't fully understand how this process is going to move them forward, or maybe they just clearly don't have the resources. Because I don't totally buy into the, it's never about the money. Sometimes it is about the money, because if it's the difference between feeding the family or paying the coach or paying, for the oils, then, I'm going to choose putting food on the table for the family, of course, right? But sometimes there is that little bit, and again, it comes down to that trust in themselves and the trust into you to say, like, this is maybe I'm going to give up my yoga classes in order to do this, but if I give up my, really high luxury yoga class, I don't know. I don't know who's paying that much for yoga, but maybe somebody is, right? But I need to make sure that this is going to be more valuable for me. Awesome. Anything else? What else is hard about selling? Pretty exhaustive list. Yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
I have been through Tasha's, your Direct Sales Foundation, your Leadership Foundation, and I'm in Please Recruit Responsibly course right now. So I don't want to ask questions that are overlapping what she has done. I know you coach her, of course, too. Try to think, but for me, I am good at going through the outlines, and they've really helped us write our outlines well. I don't think I'm very good at just really reading the client, as opposed to, here is the outline of, okay, now you say this part, and if they reply this way, then here's what you offer. But if they reply this way, then this is what you say. Yeah. I'm really good at walking through that, but really reading them, I don't even know if that's just comes with experience, or if that can even be taught. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So a little bit of both. Right. But definitely what we say and what we actually feel don't always match. And so sometimes we need to look below what it is that they're saying, and we need to dive a little bit deeper. And there are some questions when we get into the process here. There are some pieces that will help you to dive just a little bit deeper with that individual to get to the root of what it is that they really, really are feeling and what they really, really want. And sometimes the root of what that is that, well, I want to focus in on my health, but I feel a little bit selfish in doing that, right? Like, but I have my kids to care for, and I do everything for them, and I never take care of myself. But I had this thing happen when I was a child, and I don't feel worthy of self-love, right? So, we'll definitely kind of get a little bit into that. So
one example of how that manifests in my behaviors is being afraid to offer the larger kits, because I'm not sure if I read where they are. So the simple script is just offer the 2 lowest kits and I can get a sure win there. So rather than starting with the high kits and scaring them off and then offering drop downs, I am more apt to just offer the 150 and the 275 price point and hope they'll just buy something.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. So the high kit being kind of like the diamond kit, I think it is for you guys, right? I'm learning.
Around here, I'm working with Tasha on that too. I'm in West Virginia in the US. Just really, really poverty. I still have referrals that you can get, through Zoom. You can talk to people anywhere, but I'm scared to even offer the 550 kit. I've sold a few. I will offer it, but I don't even know when. It's just rare that I feel comfortable enough to even throw that out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, awesome. And so again, a little bit of that, like, so sort of showing the value, saying the price. This is coming up time and time again, right? That lack mentality in the clients, like, are they really ready and willing to accept what it is that we want to do? And how do we know that they are ready and willing to do this so that we can pitch to them these things? So,
okay. I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So one more thing, I guess I'll be honest about my fears and transparent. So
Awesome.
I have done great work, 6-figure projects with ease, and done this successfully, but I haven't done those things on a level as an individual entrepreneur. So I feel nervous about sharing like my pricing. So I can make $60,000 in 1 year working for a company, and the project takes 6 months. So that's a $30,000 value there, plus work-life benefits like 401k and all that stuff. But because I haven't done those things on my own, I feel challenged taking those successes from corporate America, where I had this corporate umbrella that could be my fallback in case things didn't work out. But everything is on me as an individual entrepreneur, and being able to say, yes, I'm capable of doing these things. And they're like, show me where you have. And I'm like, in my client base, I can't. So where do you go with that? But I know that I'm good at it because I've done it on a corporate level. But how does that transition into showing them that you're successful as an individual coach or entrepreneur?
Absolutely. So that establishing the credibility.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Cool. So I'm going to keep this moving forward here so that we have the time to get into all the good stuff. But thank you guys so much for sharing. That's super helpful, and can really allow us to dive into things on a more personal level. So some of you guys, I know a lot of you know already who I am, but some of you may not. So I'll just give you the brief rundown here on who I am and why I'm qualified to talk to you about creating selling systems in your business. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Heather Prastansky. My name's probably on the screen here. Yes. And I've been in sales for 15 years, and I've been training people how to sell and achieve crazy high close rates with so much love. Okay. That's really important to me, is that we're selling with love for the person in front of us, that it feels as good for them as it does for you. And I've been doing that since I was 21 years old. So that's about 12 years experience in teaching people how to sell. Now, I've sold for huge companies, or 2 huge companies like Walmart, 3M, Allstate Insurance. That was all in the marketing world. I've also sold to people who are just starting out and making $600 a month in their business. So you guys know Tasha. Tasha's a great example of that. When we started working together, she was making about $600 a month in revenue, and now she is a 7-figure business 18 months later. So I've sold marketing through my agency. I've sold financial services, mortgages. I've sold $25 pairs of leggings and $75,000 coaching packages. And in case you couldn't tell, I'm not a glamour puss or an Instagram model, if you can believe it. So I'm just a gal who grew up in a small farm town with 0 connections. I'm from a place called Chatham, Ontario, which probably none of you have heard of because most people haven't heard of it. And I just know that you don't need to be this super fancy person in order to be successful in sales at any level. I have clients right now who pay me $87,000 a year to coach them, which is crazy, right? But I've also had clients who have paid me $200 to coach them. So here's the thing. You just need to have a lot of love for your prospects. You need to be confident in what it is that you do, and you need to have a great selling system. Now, I do this because I really do believe that every single person here has a special gift that they need to share with the world. And so who here, just sort of raise your hand, but who here does amazing work for their clients or sells an awesome product? And you truly believe that? Yes? Awesome. Everyone, I'm going to assume people with video off also have amazing, amazing things. So let me ask you this. Who here has sold something to someone in the past 6 months? Yes? Awesome. Everyone sold something in the past 6 months. Right, says, raise his hand. Awesome. So who here knows that your client that you sold to 6 months ago, so imagine that client you sold to 6 months ago, are they still receiving benefits from that work that you did with them 6 months ago? Yes? I see a lot of heads nodding. Absolutely. Pam says, hey, Pam. So how many of you still have the money that you received from that client 6 months ago? Nope. Right? Like Shanette's like, yeah, I still got that money. Most of us have spent it. We've got bills, we've got other things, right? Marcy says, puts hand down. So if your client is still benefiting from that today, right? And the money that you've received has gone to bills or whatever, or maybe, you haven't spent it, but it's just kind of sitting there, not really doing much for you. Who's the biggest winner of that sale? Is it you or your client? It's your client, right? Your client is the biggest winner of the transaction. And if you don't firmly believe that, then we have another problem in the offer itself. But I do believe that everyone here has this an amazing offer, and that the client sitting there in front of you, that we have an obligation to sell this thing to this person, right? And so this is why selling is a really true and simple joy. You get to impact people. So you get to walk out of a conversation knowing that whether they buy or not, you have shared with them something that has the ability to truly change their life. And so if you're sitting there and kind of thinking like, ooh, should I offer them this higher kit? Like, we just need to understand. Or, ooh, should I offer them 2 hours or 6 hours? Or should I offer them 2 months or 6 months? What is the best thing for that client there in that moment? And just know that whatever the reaction is, they might have some ish in their head around money. They might have some past traumas or something like that has really blocked them from being able to receive this. But whatever that is, just know that when you make that offer, you're doing that with love, and you're doing it because you know it's going to truly change their life, right? So let's talk a little bit then about actually having these conversations, because if you don't have anyone to sell to, that makes it pretty hard to sell something, right? So what makes getting calls on the calendar hard? Just feel free to pop in.
I think for me, it's the time to just be out there making connections so people want to make that call. Right now, this year, my main focus is to really use my social media, my website, to draw those people to me. Because before, my business was in a different direction. It was more for brick and mortar instead of online.
Sure.
So I definitely have to do some rebranding with that.
Cool. So time, really time and
time to cultivate those relationships. Yeah.
Okay, cool. What else? What else is hard about getting people on the phone or however you sell to them, whether it be through a funnel or something like that? What's hard about getting prospects? Go ahead, Shanette.
Hey, so for my clients, it's the technology. They don't have a way to just, have a system that works for them even while they're sleeping, or when they don't have the time to actually do something. So yeah, for my clients, it's more technology. They don't have the tools that they need.
So they're not set up to even work with you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. What else?
Well, for me, it's going to be them finding me.
Yeah.
Because once I got on the phone and I connect with a client, usually is a good connection, and we creating a nice rapport and start working some way. But just so to find a new client, so it will be a traffic. Let's put it that way.
Awesome. Cool. Anything else?
I'm reluctant to make the actual phone calls for the referrals. I'm getting better at asking for referrals and getting referrals through the training that I'd received, but it's just like actually picking up the phone and making the call. And I'm trying to think why some of that is. Some of it's obvious. I mean, nobody likes to call a perfect stranger and see if they would like to chat further. I think part of it is, though, that somebody that doesn't know you from Adam, that hasn't even seen your face yet, at least you have more of a connection if they want to do a Zoom with you. But when you're just calling for that initial, would you like an appointment? They are more, at least from my experience, even though I've texted the follow-ups and so forth, they're more apt to cancel on me. And I don't want to blow my time. I have 5 kids plus this job. I don't want to give them that slot if they're just going to cancel on me. So I think that's part of my reluctance and even wanting to bother scheduling with a referral, because a good portion of them are going to bail.
Right.
If I got the connection with them, it would be good by then, but just to get that initial contact, and I could have had an actual sales call for that time.
Absolutely. So the project plan that we're going to create today will help you guys solve many, if not all of the challenges that we just listed. So I have an entire page here. Marcy, go ahead.
Okay, so I think for me, because I don't have a specific process in place, and it feels like I'm starting over every single time I talk to somebody based on what their particular needs are.
Right.
So I feel like maybe lack of an ability to control the call, because I don't have a particular structure in place, it makes me feel very nervous about moving forward. And then what if they ask me about something that I don't know on the spot? Just simple stuff like that. It's frustrating. And then honestly, 98% of the people that are on the telephone with me, I just feel so frustrated that I get ready to spin them, because either they have no idea what they really want, or once I started talking to them about it, like this lady wanted for me to help her with her entire online strategy. And then she was like, I think I got about $150 a month.
Right. So we want to make sure that we're qualifying that beforehand, right? Because $150 a month online is not going to get you very far.
It's not going to get you anywhere with me, because that was supposed to be included in my pay and her resources.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, that's not going to get you very far. I can see Shanette's face too. Like, okay.
Yes. So I'm ready to spin these people from the time that I get on the phone with them, because I always know what it's going to end up like. And it's always something frustrating. I always feel like I've wasted my time, and I'm just like, what am I doing? How am I even talking to people like this? And I know it's my fault, but I'm not figuring out why it's my fault and what I need to do differently.
Okay, cool. So pay special attention then in project number 2 that we're going to go over here. That's going to really help you guys figure out some of those 5-star clients. So I'm going to kind of move into some of the content here now that I've got a good idea, and we'll start to run through building out these projects. Okay, so I'm going to screen share with you here on my fancy pants iPad. We're going to try this out. And hopefully it's not a complete disaster. But let's see here. Okay, so I need to do this, and then it's going to ask me on my iPad, AirPlay, yeah. Okay, let me know. Can you see my iPad? It looks like you can. Yeah, all right, score. All right, this is new to me, guys, so we're hoping that this works. I'm gonna pull your chat back up here so that I can also see that. And Lorena mentioned, what if we ask existing clients for referrals and they receive a complimentary 15-minute session or product? Absolutely. I mean, those complimentary sessions can certainly work. However, the way that we structure it, right, you can also get a lot of people taking advantage of that time. So we don't want to just give away the time for free for the people who aren't willing and ready to actually implement. So we'll get into that just a little bit here too, Lorraine, in where that really comes down to play. So what I want to do here is I want to walk you guys through the 5 core areas that you need in your business to excel if you want to create consistent sales and profits. So I can send these slides to you guys afterwards too, so that you don't feel like you need to take down absolutely everything, but and we'll have the replay out for you as well. But I want you guys to imagine that the consistent sales and profits that sit on the top here, okay, that these are this is your house. Okay, so this is your house. This is what you want to actually do with people. And I want you to also think about the different pillars here as being like the foundational pillars that hold up your house. So your house has footings, right? It has these concrete blocks, if you have a basement, I guess, if it's not sitting directly on the ground. But if you're up here in Canada like me, you definitely have a basement or a crawl space, and it's sitting up on these pillars, right, to allow for drainage and all these other things. Now, what happens if one of these pillars is a little bit shorter than the other? So let's just say that this conversion pillar was only built up about this high, right? So what's going to happen is that your house is going to start to sag here in the middle, right? It's going to start to fall apart. And so if each of these pillars are not strong, if we do not focus in on each of these pillars, our business is going to start to sag. It's going to start to break, okay? And so what are those 5 pillars? The 5 pillars of client creation is, number 1, we have to have a really strong offer, but we also need an offer that people actually want, right? So there's one thing to have an offer that does a really great transformation. The market needs to also want the offer. Okay. And the way that we message needs to bring in those clients that we know that the offer is going to help. Then we need to connect with people. So I think it was Anna, you had mentioned, you know, you need people to find you. Like, where is that traffic coming from? Like, how do we connect with these people and bring them into our circle so we can get them into the conversion process, whatever that conversion process might be, right? Then we need to actually convert them. So once we get them on the phone, are they that 5-star client? Are they that person that is going to say yes? And how do you control that conversation so that you give them that opportunity to say yes? Because sometimes we actually shut our clients down in a way that's subconscious, right? Continuity really stems back to, Ashley, you had mentioned that, you know, you're looking to move more into group coaching. You're looking to have more time in your business, right? We're looking to do more of that online automation. Anna, you mentioned the same thing. So continuity really comes down to 2 things. Number 1, are we building a base of business so that our clients are sticking with us and we're building new clients on top of it? So each and every month we're growing just a little bit. Or are our clients coming in, they're buying, and then we have to find new clients. And it's kind of going like this, and it feels like a bit of a roller coaster, right? And then the last part of this is an amplification campaign. Now, many people think that the campaign goes at the beginning. We do the offer and then the campaign. The campaign actually needs to come at the end because we need to really understand throughout this process what are the different points that we need to put into place, right? What are some of these points that we need to put into place? What are the things that your clients are going to connect with? What are their deeper emotional issues? And you're going to see that when we start laying out the campaign promise, why it needs to go at the end there. Cool? So let's dive in then to, let's see if I can get this to move. Awesome. Let's dive into the core offer outcomes. So we're going to dive in. Project number 1 is your core offer. Okay. So implementing these projects, these are going to help you go from messaging to everyone to really connecting in with someone. And that's really important, right? We don't want to just be this megaphone out in the marketplace. We want to actually connect with somebody. It's going to help you to stop getting lost in the noise and begin standing out in the crowd. And it's going to help you to end uncertainty and really launch into strong measurable results with clients, even if what you do is difficult to measure, right? So for some of you, what you do is pretty easy to measure, right? So Shanette, Marcy, you know, in that marketing space, pretty easy to measure. We're getting you more clients, we're getting you more leads, we're getting you more people into your funnel. But for someone like Anna, who really works with someone on confidence, that's really hard to measure, right? I feel confident today, but do I feel confident tomorrow? No. So how do I know that my overall level of confidence is increasing? And that's really important. So I see the chat kind of going here. Lorraine says, is it okay to offer your, if your offer is for a number of hours without a commitment of what will be accomplished, as each of my clients have different needs or at different stages of branding in their business? So Lorraine, I think that going into this core offer is going to help you a little bit with that clarification of what they're going to get. There needs to be some sort of deliverable, but that deliverable can be established at the beginning of your call. So if you do coaching, as some of you guys on the call do, sometimes you show up to that coaching call and what you had planned is like that person just threw it out the window because they're like, nope, I changed my offer this week and now we're doing this other thing. And we're like, woo, okay, we're going over here. And that's where your expertise really comes into play. And we're going to start to see some of that. So let's take a look at the 3 M's of an unstoppable core offer. Okay, so what sits in the middle here is, here's what we want to create, right? We want to create not just an offer that is awesome, right? We want to create an offer that is highly desirable in the marketplace so that people see it and they go, oh yeah, like I need this thing. I need to work with this person, right? And so the components that go into that are these. So the first thing that we need is we need to make sure that our offer aligns with the marketplace. So does the market see that there's a need for your offer? And now you can create a market for your offer, but we need to understand whether or not we need to create that. Sarah says, good thing you're a shotgun Heather. Yes. So for any of you guys who've gone through my 4 decision makers, you know that I am a shotgun decision maker. I'm just like, I'll get on the phone with someone and be like, how much do I pay you? That's all you need to do to sell me. I'm good to go. But yes, most people do not make decisions that way. The second thing that we need to do is we need to figure out the messaging for the product. So inside of that messaging are things like, how do I price my offer, right? How do I know that somebody's going to get on the phone and I can be really confident saying that price? I can be really confident that they need this big kit or that they need this longer program because we've set it up to be that way. Okay, not because we're being manipulative, but because we know when people stay with us or when they buy that bigger kit or that bigger offer, that they're going to get bigger results. And that's what we want for our clients because we love them, right? And then the last piece of this is measurement. So we kind of touched on that already. But let's kind of look at what these three things are going to do inside of your offer. Oh, look at that, it's lunchtime. So inside of this, okay, let's just say that you've really struggled with not having a lot of word of mouth in your business. So maybe your clients come in, but it's kind of a personal type of business, and maybe they don't share it a lot, or we don't have people giving a lot of referrals. Maybe you're having to go out and chase referrals. They're not naturally coming to you, right? So if we have that problem, then what likely is happening is we have some sort of an issue. Whoops. There we go. I need to hit this little guy, I guess. So then we have some sort of an issue right in here. There's a problem with either the market itself. So maybe they came in and the offer is just not quite what they think that other people need, right? Or maybe there's a problem here. They don't fully understand what they actually got from you, right? So sometimes people can be like, oh, I think I feel better, or I really like that person. I really enjoyed working with them, but I'm not really sure what I got from them, right? So I'm not sure if I'm ready and willing to share that yet. Or this product is the offer is a little bit complicated for me. I don't know if I've worked in this long enough to be confident that I can refer people into it. The other problem that you might have with your offer is that it's difficult to sell. So you might find that you need to explain this offer for, quite some time, and there's just a lot of information that they need to be able to be set up for your offer. So then we have a problem here, okay? So if we're difficult to sell, there means that there's some sort of issue with either your market or your messaging. So our messaging might need to change. Maybe we need to use more analogies, right? So I have a client right now, and she sells a 12-month program, and it's a monthly membership at $297 a month. They go through sort of like 12 different stages of growing the business, but that's not very easy for people to understand right from the get-go, right? And so a messaging that we've used is that this is kind of like the Netflix of building your business. You're going to come in, you're going to look for the channel on what it is that you need, and you're going to watch the videos, right? So super simple analogy. There's clarity in that messaging. And if we have difficult clients, so who here has ever had a really difficult client or someone that has signed up for you and then they just weren't really a good fit, right? That usually, right? We've all had them for sure. That really stems right here. So that means that we have a problem with our messaging. So either we're not attracting in the right clients, or we have a problem with their measurement. So maybe they're being difficult because they're scared because they just paid you all this money and they don't really see what they're getting at. Okay. So let's take a look at the different projects that we need to do, right? And this is going into your project plan here. So let's take a look at the different projects that we need to do in order to create this unstoppable core offer. Now, the projects here are going to be the same no matter what it is that you're selling and no matter what the level that you're selling at. The depth in which you dive into some of these projects, if you're selling a $10,000 offer, right, is going to be different than if you're selling a $200 offer. The depth in which you need to go into this, all right? So the first thing that we need to look at here is your market. So we need to determine, is there a need for that thing that you're selling, okay? So this is where we're going to go out. We're going to do a bit of a research project, and we're going to say, like, what is it that people need? Anna and I, we did this a little bit, right? And we had gone back and we had seen that a lot of people, they really need help with anxiety. But then when we got to the messaging phase, we figured out that, oh my gosh, when we're messaging to anxiety, we're bringing in the wrong types of clients because they're not really in that mindset to help themselves. They're sort of in this victim mindset. So instead we went back and we said, well, what else are they looking for? People with anxiety who actually want to move forward, they want more confidence, right? And then we can move back into the messaging and we could say, okay, cool. So Ashley, you had sort of mentioned that lack mentality or that clarity. It could come to the actual words that you're using. Getting more confidence and having less anxiety is actually kind of the same thing, right? And the work that Anna does with those clients is pretty much the same, right? But when she had that epiphany, it was actually amazing. Closed 2 clients around the same time. The one for anxiety, not an ideal client, kind of difficult to deal with, right? The one for confidence is like, yeah, I've done my homework. Give me more, right? Like, let's go. So really, really important that we get back to that need and we fully understand what that looks like. The next thing is, what is your expertise? So what can you confidently deliver on so that when you go to say like, hey, this is why you need to buy this thing. This is why. So Marcy, coming back to your point, this is why you need to spend at this level. This is why I'm going to charge you, a few $1,000s a month to do your marketing, because I have all of this expertise that comes into play. This is also where you can sort of align up that work that you did in corporate. Okay. Give me just 1 second here. I need to open my door for my dog. She's going to like knock it down. You guys hear this scratching? There you go. All right. I tried to lock them out, but it doesn't always work. And then we want to see if there's demand in the marketplace, right? So I have a model that I use, and we're going to take a look and we're going to see, do we need to scale it? So is this a really scalable offer that we can offer online, or is this something we need to specialize in? Meaning that we're only going to take people one-on-one and we're only going to work at them maybe at a higher price point because we could only take a handful of people. That is really demand dependent, and it's also very much so result driven. Okay. So we can't charge somebody $25,000 for something if the result that they're getting is not worth $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 in value, right? Then we get into messaging. So the projects we need to create there: price, promise, and niche. So price is pretty straightforward. What are we going to offer this inside of the marketplace at? The promise, this is really the transformation that we're promising to people. And then the niche. So people get really hung up here because they're like, I don't want you to put me in a box, right? I don't want you to put me in a box. But here's the thing. This isn't putting you in a box. What we're saying is that we're going to focus in on one niche right now. We're going to build this baby out because it's a lot easier to market to a niche. It's a lot easier to find your clients in a single niche. And then what we can do is we can take that system and we can move to a new niche. And we can move to a new niche. When I was building up my marketing agency, we focused solely on Facebook ads, solely in the information space at first. Then we moved to local clients, right? But in the beginning, if you were a local client and you came to us and you said, hey, can you do my Facebook ads? I was like, nope, can't do it. Only deal with people in the information space. The reason for that is because when we start having that delineation between what it is that we do, right? And I still have, because I owned a marketing agency, I still got people all the time, can you do my Facebook ads for me? Can you do my Facebook ads for me? And I'm like, no, I can't. I sold that. Can't do it for you anymore, but I can help you learn how to do it, or I can guide you to some other people in the industry. So what's interesting is when you really niche down, you get known for that thing, and marketing and attracting people in becomes a lot easier, okay? And then we get into measurement. So what is the process, right? So this isn't just the process of buying or how you're delivering, but this is the client's process throughout their journey, right? And so for someone like you, Jeanette, or Marcy, in that marketing realm, this is a little bit simpler. You're like, okay, first we need to get your messaging down. Then we need to attract the prospects. Then we need to, connect in with them. We need to have a conversation with them. We need to get them into some sort of conversion process, right? For someone like you, Sarah, or you, Carrie, who are dealing in the product space, this is a little bit more difficult because it's like, yeah, you buy my product, then you use it, and then you get the result, right? But really, we want to think about, well, what's actually their system towards health? How long am I going to have to use this product before I start to see a difference? Is it instantaneous the first time that I diffuse an oil? right? Or is this going to have to be me using it over and over again and experimenting with different blends to see what really speaks to me? What does that process look like? This is going to speak into your clients who really need to see that path from point A to point B so that they can fully understand, okay, if I do this, I'm going to get to where I want to be. We also need yardsticks. So this is, how are we going to measure that progress, right? So for me, I use an assessment tool. It's kind of like going through your business. We go through the different pillars and we're going to say, okay, this is where we need to work next. This is where those pillars are starting to break and fall apart. For most of my clients, we start it with the core offer. For some of it, we're like, good, your offer's strong, it's already selling. We're going to actually move over here, right? But how are they going to see their progress and the progress that they've made from point A to point B? This is what's also going to help them to continue on with you. And then your guarantee. So you don't have to offer a guarantee, but you do need to deliver on that promise, right? So the promise for this workshop today is that you're going to get the project plan to creating creating your profitable selling system, right? So the guarantee itself is that I'm going to deliver to you a project plan, right? Not that you're going to be able to make $1 million from the project plan, right? We've got clients who have done it, but where that person is, you know, what that need and demand is, we don't know. We don't know where everyone's starting, right? So what is that thing that you can absolutely guarantee right out of the box? So let's move into then the project guide itself. These are the actual projects to complete, okay? So in order to complete pillar 1, inside of 2018, we're going to start here. We're going to look at phase 1 is your market. So we're going to look at assessing the need. We're going to develop some sort of questionnaire. We're going to go out there and we're going to survey the market to say, hey, I was looking at all of my competitors' offers or other competing solutions. And what I noticed is that everybody's sort of complaining about this one thing. Would it be something that is interesting to you, right? If I were to create something to fulfill that need, right? So, for example, when I created my Hatchery Mastery Mentorship, most masterminds are sort of like $25,000 a year, $50,000 a year. I created my Hatchery Mastery Mentorship at $650 a month so that my clients who couldn't afford to work with me one-on-one would have something to get into and still be able to work with me on a higher level, and was able to sell that out without really doing any marketing for it, right? So I found that little need in the marketplace and I filled it. Then we need to match your expertise. So we're just going to go through, what is that past experience that I have? What is the expertise that I have right now? And of all of these needs that I've listed out, where do I know that I can create something to help someone? Then we take that back into the market and we say, hey, do you want this thing? And that might be offering a beta. Okay, it might be offering something as a trial or like a first group where you're really doing something live with them. So Ashley, you had mentioned that, you want to move from one-on-one to group coaching. Anna, you mentioned moving from that one-on-one work to moving online. Maybe that's something that we need to create, right? Like some sort of beta program where we're doing a small group, but we're running it live so that we still get that experience of really feeling into where those people are going. And then we can start to automate it. People tend to automate just a little bit too early, right? We need to fully understand what's working. Inside of messaging, we're going to find a profitable niche, determine your best price, and craft your promise statement. Okay. And then inside of measurement, the projects here, construct your yardsticks, determine your single process, and design your guarantee. Any questions on the core offer? Just go ahead and unmute yourself because I can't see everyone here when I'm screen sharing. Good? Awesome. So let's move into then the next pillar. This is actually going to cover pillars 2 and 3, which is connection and conversion. So we're going to take a look at conversion outcomes. Now, implementing these projects, what we're going to do here is we're going to start a conversation and bring qualified people into your selling system without breaking the bank on ads or wasting your time on social media, right? So here's the thing. You don't need to spend all day on social media in order to make this stuff work. You can have something that you pop up every once in a while. I actually have an ad that when I want a new one-on-one client, I know I can throw about $200 behind it, and it's probably going to bring me a one-on-one client, right? And I'll just recycle that same ad every quarter or something like that when I want to bring someone else in, instead of creating new content every single day and just adding to the noise. right? It's not about adding to the noise. It's about connecting with people with a message that really clarifies for them their problem and why you're the person that can help them. We also are going to look at transforming your tactics for convincing people to buy. We're going to transform that into a loving and compelling sales method. And then we're also going to terminate that follow-up limbo. So who here has ever, had a client who was like, I need to think about it, or, I need to talk to my spouse about it. And then you keep following up with them and following up with them and following up with them. And it feels like follow-up hell, right? Versus yes. So we want to create a container to move people from not sure. Most sales calls actually end in a, I'm not sure, right? To a hell yes, or even a hell no. That's okay, right? But it's not loving for your clients either when they have this in the back of their head, like, oh my gosh, this person probably thinks I'm such a flake because they haven't given them a decision yet, right? It reminds me of that movie Dodgeball where they're like, dive, duck, dip, dive, and or whatever, right? And it feels like they're just diving and ducking from your emails, but that doesn't feel good for them either. That's not loving for them either. We want to give them that container to say, yeah, dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So we want to make sure that we're really connecting in and we're giving that container and we're leading them to that yes or no decision. So this is where we're going to take a look at the connection triangle. Now, what this is going to do for us here is that this is all about creating those 5-star clients and bringing them into your business. Okay, so who here has ever been on a sales call with somebody who just really wasn't willing to engage? They kind of just sat there like, yeah, okay, tell me about your stuff, right? They kind of have that front up and they're like, like you tell me, and then you feel like you're like having to warm them up because, oh my gosh, this is super awkward, right? Who here has ever had a client who wasn't the most friendly or the most cooperative, right? They were kind of a jerk to you as you're working with them and you're like, this is not enjoyable. And this can't be enjoyable for them as well because clearly something's triggering here and they feel the need to be mean. Who here has ever had a client who didn't really know what they wanted, right? They came to you and they said like, I think I want this thing, but I don't really know, right? Or somebody who was not motivated to take action right now. They got on a call just to sort of pick your brain. They didn't actually want to buy anything, right? Like they just got on that call to pick your brain a little bit. And then they're going to get on the call with somebody else to pick their brain a little bit. And then they're going to get on the call with somebody else. Yeah, call me after the holidays. Absolutely. And so those are all pieces that we want to look for. Is this person willing to engage? Are they friendly, right? Are they somebody who knows what they want? Are they motivated to buy, right? And it doesn't mean that they are necessarily ready to buy, that you won't get an objection. But are they actually motivated to buy? Do they have that motivation? And so this is where we use the connection triangle to really start to weed some of these people out before you get on that call with them or before they get to your sales page in the funnel. We don't want these people getting to that point where you're making an offer to them if they're not the right fit for you. Now, it won't work 100%, but it'll probably work about 90%. And so here are the steps to that. The first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to initiate conversation, right? So this is where we really just need to get to know the person who's in front of us, okay? So we want to know, gosh, this is just a giant disaster here, me on the iPad. Okay, so the initiation piece, this is where we're just going to connect in with them and we're just going to be their friend. All right, we're just going to be genuinely interested in who they are as a person. We're going to be genuinely interested in what it is that they are looking for in life, and we're going to listen for those clues on things that they might be struggling with. We're going to get really super inquisitive here, okay? And so when we're inquisitive, we're going to be asking them questions that we know that we can answer with our offer, right? And so if I'm going to ask you a question, let's just say you brought up for me, like, oh yeah, I've got my own business and things like that. I might ask you, oh, awesome. How are sales going? Right? Because I know that I have something to offer you when it comes to your selling system. Right? And so when it comes to, let's say Anna, so you're dealing with confidence, like, oh, how's work going for you? Are you on the path that you want to be? right? Just really being genuinely interested. And they say, yeah, I'm on the path I want to be. Cool. I'm not going to press you any further. Probably not that 5-star client, right? Because maybe it's not going so well. Maybe I heard something and I kind of knew, and that's the reason I connected to begin with. But if you're not willing to, it's sort of like that first step of AA. Oh my gosh. I think it thought I said, hey, Siri. What's happening? There we go. If they're not willing to engage in that conversation, then we are not willing to engage in that conversation quite yet either. We're just going to be there to support them, right? And then when the time is right, we're going to make that invitation. So the invitation, it's really important that we're changing the environment, okay? And in marketing, we call this really putting somebody through a portal. So if you guys can imagine that you're at a wedding, right? You're the bride. We have all women on here. Yes. So you're the bride at a wedding, and you and your husband arrive separately, right? He's waiting at the altar. You're at the back of the hall, and you walk through this portal of your friends and family. And then at the end of the ceremony, you walk back out as a couple. So you arrive separately through the portal, and then you walk back through this portal of your friends and family back into the world as a married couple, right? That's a change in environment. And we see portals in marketing all the time because they work, okay? And so when I say invitation, we're going to invite them into a different environment. So it might be a sales call. It might be inviting them into an automated webinar if you're selling more of an online program. It might be bringing them into some sort of follow-up call. So maybe your initial call was on Zoom and you were doing a sales call. Well, next time for you gals who are doing the oils, this is why we teach, like, this is why you need to do that follow-up call when they actually have that kit in front of them. Let's touch, let's feel the oils. Now we're in a different environment of sort of like that touching feeling instead of just like talking, right? We need some sort of portal to bring them into. For most people, it's going to be a sales call, okay? So that you're speaking with them one-on-one. Once we actually get them into that sales call, this is when we move them into the conversion staircase. So this is what I call the loving sales formula. When you walk people through this on an actual sales call, then you're going to eliminate that awkwardness that both people kind of feel when you're on a call with them, right? Like, who here has ever felt awkward when you're on a sales call and you're like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I feel like I'm just trying to get them to give me money, or they are not 100% comfortable in this conversation. They're not opening up to me as much as I want them to, right? This is also what's going to help us not to waste that time. We're going to know pretty quickly in the conversation whether or not we need to do a loving release and just say, you know what? I don't think that you're ready to do this at this time, and that's okay. Give me a call back when you are. But we're not going to wait to the end to do that. We're going to do that right at the very beginning, right? It's also going to help us to pre-handle some objections as well, so that when we get to the end and we get into that decision, it really is just leading them to a this is what you need to do. Are you in or are you not in? And if you're not in, that's okay. And maybe if they're not in because it was above their budget, we have a drop down or a lower price product that we can offer them. And most of you guys did have multiple price points, so you're already set up to do that. Sarah says, I feel the awkwardness a lot more frequently in a class environment as opposed to one-on-one sales combo. Yeah, it is more awkward even in an environment like this, right? Because I'm talking at you. It's really hard to get a two-way dialogue when we have a lot of people on the call. So that's probably where that comes from. They don't want to share and be vulnerable in front of others. Definitely. So that's where your buy-in questions becomes a lot more important. So as we break some of this stuff down, the first thing that you need to do on that appointment is to drive the appointment. So one of the very first things that I did on this call was I set an agenda and I said, here's what's going to happen, right? And now you'll often get people who hop on the call, especially if they're shotguns like me, right? And they're like, all right, how do we do this thing, right? Like, I have no time for small talk. I'm just going to be like, how do I give you all my money, right? When I signed up with my mentor, Todd, that's basically what I did to him. I got on the call. I was like, Todd, like, I don't even need to know the details. Here's my credit card number. How do I give you all my money? And he was like, whoa, slow down. And he took that drive back and he said, you know what? Before I'm willing to even share that with you, I need to know that you're a good fit for me, right? And that's love too. That comes from love. Because here's the thing. right? If I don't know that you're a good fit for me, if I don't know that my thing is going to help you, here's my promise to you at the end, I am not going to make an offer. And so if at the end of the agenda, I usually say something like this, feel free to write this down and to use it. I usually say something like, if at the end of the call, if it feels right, I may ask if you want to hear a little bit more about what it looks like for us to work together. I don't do this for everyone. Okay? And that's really important. I don't do this for everyone, but if at that point you want to hear more, that's cool. If you don't want to hear more, that's cool too. So what we're doing there is we're breaking down that wall and we're breaking down that awkwardness, right? And I actually did that with you on the call today. I said, at the end of this call, I may tell you a little bit more about how we can look like to get what it looks like for us to work together. Yes, Larry, during the discovery call or during the sales call, whatever you kind of want to call it. Yes, it does align with Laura's sales process too, for sure. And so we definitely want to break down that sales call. Okay, we want to break down that sales barrier. So now I'm not getting on the call, because we all get on a call and we're like, this person's going to sell me something, this person's going to sell me something. And it kind of blocks us from receiving what you have to say, right? The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to dive into their desire. Whoops. So we really want to understand what it is that they want, not just from the work with you, but we also need to understand what it is that they really want in their life. So sort of that underlying thing that they want, right? So when it comes to selling more stuff, the surface answer that I always get is, I want to make more money. Cool. What is it about making more money that would impact you and impact your life? Right? Now, these questions are very important. I spend probably 45 minutes on my sales calls out of about an hour on this part right here. And it doesn't have to be that deep, right? So I'm selling usually high ticket, high value stuff. So I need to spend more time here. If you're selling something that's $200, $250, probably don't need to do that right away. Okay. You probably don't need to go as deep into that. But we want to go a few levels deep. So a really good question to ask here is, what else? What else? Anything else? Right? So we're just really emptying, we're allowing them to go deeper. Another good question to ask here is, what would that do for you? So if you were to make more money, what would that do for you? Okay, cool. So maybe that would allow you to have more freedom in your life, or would allow you to walk away from your job. Cool. So what is it about that walking away from your job that is important to you? Well, I really hate my boss. They kind of stress me out. And then I feel like I'm snapping at my husband every day. Okay, so what is it about being able to walk away from that job and stop snapping at your husband? What would that do for you? Well, that would obviously strengthen my relationship. Right? So now we're getting into some of the deeper roots so that when we get into making that decision, we can sort of say, what is repairing that relationship with your husband worth? Like, what are we willing to invest at this time in order to move that forward, in order to be able to make that money to leave that job so that you aren't snapping at your husband every day, right? Like, it's that deep that we sometimes need to go, right? Now, we need to also dissect this information just a little bit. So what we need to understand is what's holding them back from where they are today and where they want to be. And because all of you are experts in what you do, you know what it is that they need. But if what you say they need does not align with what they think they need, they're not going to buy. They're not going to be able to connect the dots. Right? So we need to understand what it is that they think they need in order to get to that next step. Right? So a lot of people, when they come to me, they say, I just need more people. I just need more prospects. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let's take a look at the current process. Like, what is your current closing rate on calls? Are we missing a lot of people? Sometimes we need to go all the way back to core offer before we can get into the end, which is really bringing more prospects into the system. The system has to be firing on all cylinders. So this allows me to really inject my expertise to say, okay, so you're telling me you need more prospects. I'm telling you, here's the system to be able to get to more prospects. There's probably something broken over here, which is the reason why we're not bringing in more prospects in the system, right? And this is where we get into direction. So this is where you're taking back control of that call. You've always been in control. You're asking the questions, but they're doing 90% of the talking. You're doing all of the listening. Now we're going to start doing a little bit more of the talking. So this is where we're going to ask that question. Would you like to hear a little bit more about how I can help you with this? And we've already told them it's okay to say no. I've never actually had somebody say no, right? Because at this point, they're feeling like this person cares about me. Like they really, really care about how this is going to impact my life. So of course I want to hear a little bit more. Now decision, this is a tough one for a lot of people. So yes, we need to ask for the sale, right? And interestingly enough, that's something that a lot of people miss. They just don't ask for the sale, right? That's step number one. You have to actually say, you know, what do you feel is the next best step for you? Or do you feel that this is a good solution for you, right? However, if they're like, well, I don't know, and they start getting into what I call the maybes, a lot of people call them the objections, right? There's some sort of disconnect there, or they might legitimately need that time to process. Okay, so for any of you guys, I know Tasha's Peeps, you guys have been through the 4 decision maker training because I give her permission to use that inside of her training. But for those of you who don't know, so I've mentioned a few times I'm a shotgun decision maker. I don't need any time to decide because my only objection is whether or not I feel like you're the best person to help me or not. If you are, here's my credit card. I'm just going to trust that I'm going to get back this investment, right? So shotguns are super easy to sell to. We can also be nightmare clients because we are, you know, that cartoon where it's like squirrel, right? We're totally the squirrel type of personality. We're going to commit to something and then we're going to be like, oh, there's this other new shining thing that we want to do. So the process that you're going to do after with them is going to be very important. A pathfinder needs to be able to see, did you clearly lay out for them? This is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, this is step 4, this is step 5. Now you're going to be at where you want to be. Okay. They need to be able to see those steps in order to get to where they need to be. A builder decision maker, that is somebody who is going to get on a call and they need to see those steps, but they also need to do a bit of quality control. Okay, so they're the ones who are going to ask you for testimonials. They're the ones who are going to ask you, you know, what is some previous work that you've done? If at this point they are not 100% confident that that you're able to take them to where they want to go, right? So Marcy, you had mentioned, you know, what if I don't have those clients that I've worked with in my current base of clients? You can speak to past experiences. So when I first started out in the marketing agency, I said, you know, I used to work for an agency and I've worked with large companies like Walmart, Allstate Insurance, and 3M. And often that's all they needed to hear was, okay, well, if those companies trusted her, then she probably knows what she's talking about, right? So this is where you can kind of inject that, but you don't need to do it from the get-go, right? We're only going to do that if we start to understand that like this person might be a builder decision maker. They really care about quality, right? So they really care about how pretty is your presentation, right? They really care about, did your technology fail? And that really frazzled them. Or they really care about what other people think. Okay. So they might really care, if I get onto a sales call, somebody's going to judge me on the other end if I don't know all the answers. That's probably a builder decision maker sitting there in front of you. Okay. Or if I use this product, are my friends going to think that I'm a little bit weird? Right? My husband doesn't really believe in natural solutions. So that's like a clear, surefire sign that that person might be a builder, a decision maker. And then the last one is a collector. A collector needs to know all of the information. They need to feel confident that their information is complete before they can make a decision. We need to have a container for follow-up with them. Okay, so remember back to when I said that follow-up hell, right? We don't want to step into follow-up hell where we're following up with them. If we get to the end of the sales call, we've answered everything they need to know, and they're just like, you know what? I just really need some time to process this. That's okay. We're not going to pressure them into buying something, right? We're going to give them that time and space, but we're going to create a follow-up container. So before you get on the call, before you get off this call with me, here's what we're going to do, right? I'm going to send you home with a few questions for you to really self-reflect and tap into your intuition as to whether or not you feel this is a good fit for you. And let's get back on the phone tomorrow at this time. Is that enough time for you to mull over this decision, right? If it's not, cool. How long is long enough for you to mull over this decision? Appointment is going in the calendar, right? We're not going to leave this open-ended. Appointment's going in the calendar for tomorrow, for next week, for whenever it is, okay? Now, I'm running super long here, so if anybody needs to go, that's totally cool. We are recording. I recognize that I said it was going to be 90 minutes, and we're almost there. So sometimes I just like to give and give and give. So we're going to create that follow-up container, and here's the magic piece there. So I like to say, it's not my job to get you to say yes. It's my job to lead you to a yes or no decision. Right now, we're at a maybe. Right now, we're at a I need to think about it. And so because I know that you're busy, and because I know that I'm busy, and because I know that if we don't have a container for follow-up, that eventually it's going to go a little bit too long, and I'm going to feel awkward reaching out back to you, and you're going to feel a little bit awkward reaching back out to me because you're going to think I think you're flaky, even though that's not the case, right? Let's just meet up tomorrow, or let's just meet up when you think that you need. Let's put that appointment on the books. And if it's a no, that's totally cool. If you need more information, that's going to be our time to go through that information. How does that feel for everyone? Does that feel doable for you? Cool. Awesome. So this is the conversion project guide. First thing that we need to do, we need to create our connection system. So we need to define the different conversion points that our product needs to see. So I know that if you don't want to make more money in your business, or if you don't have a product that you're confident in, I don't really feel confident in helping you sell that, right? Like, so I can help you define that product. If it's just that you don't have a core offer, you haven't defined that core offer yet, that's cool. I can help you with that. But if you're like, sometimes my clients get results, sometimes they don't, and you're not open to changing it, like, we're going to shut this down, right? We're going to make sure that we get off the phone very, very early if that's the case. So I need to develop questions that are going to dive into those conversion points. How do I know that you're the right client for me? So Marcy, you had mentioned budget, right? So how do I know that you're the right client for me? One of the first questions you ask might be, how much have you set aside for marketing? They say $150, right? Well, you know, I don't think that I'm the right person to help you at this point in time. So I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. Let's get off the phone, right? Like that is loving. It's loving for them. It's loving for you, because they don't want to sit on the phone with you either. And if they do want to sit on the phone with you after that point in time, sometimes they'll get back and they'll say, well, how much budget do I need? Okay, now we have a bit of a dialogue, and we're setting a clear expectation. Right? Now, budget doesn't work in an industry where we're really on that more emotional level. So this might be, so for Anna, for Ashley, for Sarah, for Carrie, for just about all of you who are in sort of that like more health or emotional wellness space, what you want to think about is more so that mindset to follow up. Why is it important for you to change this today? Okay? Today is really important. If they're like, well, you know, it's not really important for me to do today, but I'd like to do it because of this, this, and this. Cool. I'm just not feeling that you're ready for this. So what I want to do is I actually want to push this conversation out. And then they may say, well, whoa, wait, right? Like, wait. I think I maybe am ready to do this today. Oh, okay, cool. So why is that? Let's dive into that a bit further, right? Why is this so important to you right now? Right? So, when my husband was snoring, why is it really important for me to get him to stop snoring? Well, because, you know, at some point I might smother him with a pillow, and I don't want to do that, right? Like, I don't want to kill my husband, but oh dear God, right? It's been 3 weeks and I haven't gotten more than an hour of sleep every night, right? And so then it was like, okay, honey, I'm going to have a sales conversation with you as to why you need to go to the clinic, right? Let's have a little discussion here. Right? So where is that urgency? It's also helping to create that urgency from within. One other good question for you to use. So I think if you signed up for this through an ad, you probably got that in that ad itself. But one other good question for you to follow up with them on is really just saying to them, if this doesn't change today, what will happen? That's going to help them to create their own urgency. So who here doesn't like when people are like, oh, if you don't buy this today, the price is going up, right? Like, or like this other, like we try to instill this urgency, which on a sales call feels super awkward. It works inside of a funnel and an automated funnel, but it doesn't feel so good if you're on the phone with someone. Like, oh, if you don't give me your credit card before you hang up today, guess what? Offer off the table. Price is going up. I had that happen to me. It was like a $25,000 marketing piece. And I was like, I need to think on this. I need to do a bit more research and make sure this is the right thing. And they were like, well, if you don't buy it today, it's $50,000 tomorrow. And I was like, that's my answer then. Bye. Right? Like that doesn't really feel good. But we know that people need urgency in order to move forward because we're all natural procrastinators, right? Help them create their own sense of urgency. And then we also need to create that follow-up framework. I talked too long without touching it. And the forget-me-not strategy. So that's booking that next appointment. And if they are a no, they may not be a no forever, right? Establish whether or not they are a no forever. Is this just not something that you are looking to do, or is this just not the right time? Should I continue to follow up with you, or is that going to get awkward, right? And when you do follow up with them, it doesn't always have to be about your product. It can be about serving, okay? So what I do a lot is I say, oh, hey, I saw this article, I thought of you. And I just send it to them. And then I have people who go, oh, yeah, you know what? I want to reconnect on that thing that we just talked about. Right? Continuity. So these ones are a little bit easier, a little bit less in depth here. So hopefully we can fly through them just a bit faster. Continuity is what we turn to when we want to go from hunting down leads to gathering in qualified high-end prospects. Okay? When we want to create a steady base of lifer clients who are excited and easy to work with. So we don't want those clients who are kind of jerks, but we want a whole bunch of lifers who are going to stay with us for years to come. And we want to escape that administrative overwhelm and step into a graceful flow without having to hire a big team to help you. Okay? And this is where we hire Shanette, who can also help to automate some of this flow. This comes into some of the problems that you might be experiencing when we know that we need to really focus in on this first, right? Is that maybe you spend a lot of time on admin stuff, and you don't really spend any time in selling activities. So of course you're not going to get more clients, right? Because we're always focusing in on admin. Maybe we don't see long-term clients. So this is where we have that roller coaster of clients. They come in, they work with you for a couple hours, and now you're hunting again for more clients and more clients and more clients. We need to create some sort of continuity system so that they continue to work with us, they continue to hire us on, right? If not today, then the next time something comes up. So maybe Anna, she helped them, they're feeling confident, they're good to go, we're releasing them back into the world, but we have this framework for the next time you experience something like this, come back into my loving embrace, let me help you with that, and they do come back, right? This is building up that base of clientele so that we have, so that we're able to grow little by little, month by month. It doesn't have to be a membership platform. A lot of people think it needs to be like a recurring membership. For you girls in essential oils, you guys have the LRP program already where it's sort of like an automated thing, but they still need to buy into that every month, right? Like they still need to purchase those products every month. So what are we doing in order to help them with that buy-in? All right, so let's move in here. My husband's gonna walk through the door and my dogs are all gonna bark here. So just give them a second. They may all start to bark. I think we're good. Okay, so 3 R's to creating continuity. Okay, so continuity is really your automation, your long-term lifer clients, bringing in referrals, all of these different things. So we need to focus in, our projects here need to be renewal. How do we get people to renew with us, right? Do we have a system for that? So do we have a system for actually staying in touch with clients? Do we have a system for continuously getting their buy-in as to why they signed up for this, as to why this was important to them, right? Referral is another one. So do we have a system for collecting referrals, and do we do it, right? Because here's the thing, our clients are our best testimonials. So if they are willing to refer other people to us, we get to spend less on marketing and we get to spend less time hunting, right? And then reoccurrence is really your automation. So how much time are you spending in administrative tasks? Okay. This is where you're just going to hire Shanette and she's going to help you with a lot of this stuff. We have a joke in my mastermind. I say, and you get a client, and you get a client, because all of a sudden they all start hiring each other and we start networking instead of these types of things. But reoccurrence is really about that automation of process, right? So do you have a clear process that you're working through with clients step by step? Are you able to replicate that process into more of a group-based system, right? Do you have automation on some of that follow-up? So in order to get that renewal, is that some sort of automated process? Now, the automation doesn't mean that it has to be impersonal. It could just simply mean that your calendar automatically gets scheduled out with tasks every so often so that you're calling people, right? So continuity project guide, we're going to look at renewal. We need to establish continuity within your single core offer. So we need to figure out how to do that. That's one project for you to work on. We need to step up your renewal game and set up your renewal game, right? So do you have a way of asking for referrals that's effective? And do you have a follow-up system built in? So for me, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. I'll never call that person. So if I get a referral and I put them into my contact management system, it needs to push out a task to my calendar to call this person, or else I'm never going to do it, right? And are we creating a culture of lifers? So do we have a way to continue to add value with our clients over time? Referral. So we're going to craft a proactive referral initiation approach. So this is where we need to know what we're going to say when we actually call these referrals. So Laureen, this sort of goes back to your question that you had earlier around, could we offer them a 15-minute discovery call or something like that? Yes, absolutely. So something that I do when I reach out for referrals, instead of me calling the referral cold to say like, oh, hey, Tasha gave me your name, but this is kind of like, hey, I just met you and this is crazy, right? Instead, what we're going to do is a lot of times what I'll say is, hey, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you thought about me when it came to working with this person. If you'd like, I would love for you to be able to give this person a gift. So why don't I give you a strategy session, however long you want that to be, it doesn't matter, right? How about I give you a strategy session for you to give to your friend? That way it's coming from you from a really loving place, okay? And that's gonna allow me to connect and serve them and to ensure that we're a good fit. Really, that strategy session right there, if you're doing the loving sales process, is just your loving sales process, right? So that turns into a sales call because you're diving into that discovery. You're giving them a lot of clarity on why this is important to them, how this is going to help them in their life. And at the end, you're saying, hey, do you want to hear a little bit more about how I can help you with this, right? And if they say no, that's okay, right? And then reoccurrence. So we need to do an admin audit. Are we spending too much of our time doing admin? And we need to activate some automation sequences inside of our business. So we need to take what's working and we need to put those on autopilot. The reason we do this on this stage of the game and not the beginning, right, is because we need to know what's working in order to automate it in the first place, right? Okay. Campaign. So now after we know what's working, now we can start to amplify and throw a campaign behind it. All right. This is where we're really going to look at things like if people are buying from your competitors, even though your competitors' offer kind of stinks compared to yours, we know that we have an issue with the campaign. Okay. If people if you don't stand out in the marketplace, if you're kind of boring, or like every time you do a Facebook Live, there's crickets and nobody clicks your link to go to your sales page or to go to your freebie or to go to whatever it is, right? Then we have some sort of issue here. If you have stagnant or slow growth, then we have an issue in the campaign itself. So what we need to do is we need to help your audience to recognize their impossible unspoken dreams. That's really important here. right? It's not just the thing that all the other marketers are talking to them about. We want to understand what's the one thing that they're almost too afraid to say out loud that they really, really want, right? So why do they want that confidence? Why do they want their health to get better, right? Why do they want to really connect with people? Why do they want to be visionary? Why do they want more automation? Why do they need this marketing inside of their business? Why do they want to up-level their brand into that luxury space? What is it that they're afraid to say about that? Right? We want to really disconnect that audience from the blocks and help them to become open to receiving the help that they need. Okay, so now that we understand the problems, because we've had these discussions and we've known what's really thrown them off on those sales calls, we've known the blocks that are there, now we can add that into our marketing to help to open them up to that, to receiving the information, so that we know if we get to the end of the marketing, they're good to go, right? When people get on the phone with you, they're pretty much ready to buy. Even if they're not a shotgun, they're almost being like, I just want in, please say yes to me, instead of you trying to get them to say yes to you, right? And we also need to define a really clear path that will inspire unwavering confidence that your offer is the solution that they've been looking for. Because remember, going back to that intervention, right? If they haven't already bought, it's not because if they haven't already bought, it's not because they don't know they have a problem. They probably know that they had the problem, right? You didn't just magically bring them into that. Sometimes that is the case. And that's some of the easiest marketing to do when you're hitting people at that problem awareness phase. However, if they haven't already been inspired into action, remember, it's either because they haven't found a solution that they're confident in, or they're not confident in themselves and they're blocked. So that's kind of these two pieces here together. You can't see what I'm writing. Just kidding. It's these two pieces here together. Oh, goodness. All right. So here's your 3 A's to a profitable campaign. And of course, what we want to do here is, now that we're getting some sales, so we've been connecting with people, right? We're having these sales calls. We're closing them. Now we want to amplify. We want to get more sales, and we want to do it with less effort, right? That's the whole point of this. Now, who here has ever done marketing in the past and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted from marketing. Marketing is eating up my entire life, right? It's all I ever do. That's not what we want it to be. We want it to be really clean, really simple, really easy for you to accomplish. You don't have to spend all day on Facebook in order to do marketing, okay? Lorraine says, do you feel that every coaching business needs a business page on Facebook as opposed to using your personal Facebook page because it's more warm and personal? So yeah, you can't sell on a personal Facebook page, so that's the only thing, right? So even if you make an offer, Facebook could shut down your page. It might take them 10 years to do it, but they could eventually shut down your page, and then all of your connections goes kablooey, right? And so I like to use a business page. I like to kind of just follow the rules with that. And I will share things from my business page to my personal page, so that my personal people that I've connected with over time can still really get those messages. The other important piece there is, if we want to get to this point where we're amplifying, not everyone wants to get to the point where they're amplifying and scaling, right? But if you do, you cannot run ads from a personal Facebook page. So we need to have a business page. Okay. So I have 3 A's and then I changed it to D's. So just kidding. These are D's. This is when it's helpful to have my husband proofread things, because I stink at proofreading things and I always have typos and stuff. So we'll change that later. All right. So we've got desires, distractions, and differentiation. So is our marketing tapping into what our clients truly desire, right? Do we understand the different distractions that keep them from buying and moving forward? And is our marketing helping them move past that? And differentiation means that, is our offer standing out? Is it different? Okay, it doesn't mean that your offer has to actually be different, but is the way that you're marketing yourself standing out and being a little bit different? You don't have to go kooky. Marcy says, do you recommend a regular business page or the professional page, like a public speaker type of page? Yeah, so that totally depends on the business that you want to create. So if you are your brand, if you are your product, then I do recommend typically the public figure type of page. However, if you want to create a business where there's going to be many, many people, and you want them to be as influential in that business as you are, right? So one of my clients, she really wanted to have multiple coaches inside of her business. And so she created, instead of saying, you know, Tasha Smith Coaching, it was Emerge Sales Coaching, right? And the reason behind that was because of the long-term vision of the business. And so that would have been just a regular business page instead of a public figure page, because long-term, she didn't want it to be like, oh, I have to work with Tasha because who the heck are these other coaches, right? Like it had to be about the business. So it just depends on your goals for the business itself. All right, so let's take a look here. Do you guys see my dog like sniffing away? No, you can't see him. Maybe you can. This is Corbin. He's my little best friend. Actually, really funny story. When I leave for vacation, I'm like really sad with it. I'll hug him. I'm like, you're my best friend. Funny, embarrassing fact about me. I just love this dog. All right, so let's take a look then. Again, this is D's, not A's. So Heather fail, that's quite okay. All right, so let's take a look then at what this creates. What are the effects that we're looking to create? So when we have desire and when we are able to move people past their distractions, we get connection, okay? Woo, this pen is huge. That's all right. So if we have people who are buying from your competitors instead of you, even though you know your offer's better, there's probably something in here in desires or distractions is missing, right? So if your offer's not standing out and you really don't have a lot of interest in your offer, so you're marketing, lots of people are seeing your marketing, but nobody is interested. What the heck's going on? Then something's broken in our desires or differentiation. We're sitting right here, okay? And if we have slow or stagnant growth, then we probably have a problem with our influence, which comes down to your differentiation or your distractions and how you're able to move people past their distractions, okay? Influence comes from the ability to clearly move people through that space of, oh my gosh, I'm stuck, to, oh, now I get it, right? Like, oh, why, like, I've heard this message 10,000 times, but now it's clear. That's where influence really comes from. All right, so here are the projects that we need to create for the profitable campaign, okay? Inside of dreams, we need to understand what is the ambition. So what is it that they want to create? Then we also need to understand, how does that align to your work? And this is really important, okay? So Ashley, you said, you know, sometimes you get people who come in and you do the mindset work, but then they want business help, right? Well, we want to make sure we're never talking about that business side. We're only focusing on the mindset side, because as soon as we put one Facebook Live out there into the world as to like, here's how mindset helped me in my business. Oh crap. Like now, all of a sudden, oh, she's helping me with my business. We're going to make that connection. So that's super important, right? Is that message, are the dreams that we're sharing with people, are the dreams that we're connecting into, is that in alignment to what you do? And then we also need to create some separation from where they are today to where they need to be. Okay, so that's another project. So how do we take these dreams and how do we separate that from reality, right? And we move into distractions. So there are 3 different types of distractions that we might have. It might be an emotional distraction. So we might be like, you know, the reason why we don't buy is because I'm an emotional mess and you're going to see me for who I am. And that is terrifying, right? So I just started working with some energy healers, and oh my goodness, like one of the things, like honestly, you get on the call and you're like, I don't want you to see this. I'm a hot mess inside, or like something like that, right? Like, oh my gosh, I don't want you to see the fact that, you know, I went into this place and I started crying and like all these things, and I don't want to cry in front of you. Like that feels weird, right? Like, so there are emotional blocks to buying what they need to buy, okay? In order to meet them. There's also physical blocks. So those are things like time, money, all those things in the physical world, right? And then we also have the perceived blocks. So really perception is reality. This could be a number of different things, but they could say, you're too young to help me, right? Or you're too this to help me, or you're too that to help me. We need to understand what those are, So something that was a perceived block for me is I kind of have this high squeaky voice. And especially when I was in corporate marketing and I was selling to these really big agencies, I was in my 20s, right? And they're like, what do you know? You're in your 20s, right? And you're like this little thing with like this high squeaky voice. Like, we don't really take you seriously. So then I knew that I need to come out really powerful right from the get-go to be like, all right, listen, this is the plan. And I need to really take that drive inside of, you know, any way that I'm connecting it with them. Okay. And then we need to get into differentiation. So what is your uniqueness? Okay. What is the uniqueness that you can provide? That can be a messaging uniqueness. It could be a product uniqueness. It could be something, some other need that you're fulfilling. Do you have a clear path? So can they see clear path A to clear path to like where they want to be, point A to point B? And do you have some sort of polarizing message? So I always say that, you know, you can sell with a lot of love. That's super polarizing to people. People are like, no, you can't. Right? Like, there are some people who are like, no, it's all business all the time. You cannot inject love. You cannot be close to your clients. You cannot love your clients, right? Like, that's a polarizing stance. We definitely need to have that in order to separate ourselves out from the marketplace. Any question? Intensive bitches. So that's with my besties. We are creating a new offer. And that's what we called it on our calendar. So funny that popped up. Any questions about the project plan that we had in place? Pretty straightforward. We've got a lot of steps, right? We've got 4 phases of the project, a lot of steps to work through. But the nice thing about that is we're coming into a fresh new year. So we have a whole year to create the system. But the great thing is that once you start with that core offer and you move into conversion, you can start selling right away. Right? We don't need to wait for the marketing and all of these things to really start into this. Okay. So we already went through the projects here, so I won't go through sort of like the project guide because this is everything that was on the last slide, all right, that we already sort of talked about. So here's what I want to connect back in with you. Can we see how this can help us to show up more confidently when we're saying the price of our product? Good? How we can show the value of our product, how people can come into this conversation understanding the value of what you do and how that's going to help them, right? Can we really get into how this is going to help them move past their blocks, and how do we filter out the people who are not ready to buy? Yeah. Have we worked through some things on the time and the messaging itself? So the time that you have, how are we going to automate to actually free up some of that time? How are we going to make sure that we're on the phone with the right clients? Did we hit on that? Hey, honey. Right? Have we gained that buy-in before they book the call so that they don't bail on the call and leave us hanging? Right? So even when we're doing the referrals, I think that's when that came up. That's when we're gonna let the friend who's referring even be a part of that conversation. Right? If they're a part of that conversation, well, I'm much more likely to buy if my friend has told me I need to do this than if some random person says my friend told me that they need to do this, right? Okay, cool. So this is that point in the call when I just say, I'm going to just ask your permission if we have a little bit of time to talk a little bit more about how I work with my clients. If you've gotten what you need from this call and you want to move on, that is totally, totally cool. And I'm going to run through this really, really quickly. So I've got about 8 minutes. Cool?
Tell us more.
Tell us more? Okay. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. And even for those of you who don't really care about what I'm offering, that's totally cool, because you may be able to just learn about this positioning, this transition right from this as well. So really with this project plan, you can take everything that we learned today. You can use the tool that is Google. You can figure it out yourself, right? You can go a little bit slower with that, and that is totally, totally cool. I would be very, very happy for you to do that. Or we can move along with this together. I've been through it. many, many times, and we can help you move that along a little bit quicker. We can really dive into more of the nuance of how it applies to your particular business. We dove into that a little bit today with a lot of people on the call. Definitely wasn't a one-on-one session or many months of one-on-one sessions, right? So let's take a look at what I like to call the client hatching formula. And what I really like to do is I like to take sales and marketing and to simplify it for people, because we tend to make everything more complicated than it needs to be. Okay, so really what we're looking to do in this is we're looking to improve profit margins and be able to deliver high-end clients so that you can work less and enjoy more. Okay, so we're going to elevate. We're going to sell them the highest kit. We're going to sell them the 3-month package. We're going to sell them a $25,000 mastermind. We're going to sell them, whatever it is that you want to sell. We're going to elevate that because we know that that's serving them at the highest level. Because when they get more of you, they ultimately get more of what they want. Right? We want a consistent and predictable sales process that's done through love. That even if you are an anxious introvert, you can master this, right? So I'm actually an introvert, but because I have these processes, I can be super, super confident walking into a room or walking onto a call, right? And we also want explosive impact in a community of raving fans. That's sort of that last step of the amplification. Well, so what we're going to do here is we are going to trim the fat. We're going to simplify your systems. We're going to turn the business into a client creation machine. Yay. Awesome. All right. So really what I do is I help you to outline precisely what to do for your business without all the overwhelm. Oftentimes what I do is I say, we're not going to do this. Okay. Like, you're doing this thing. We're going to stop doing this. All right. Actually, a lot of you guys, again, came from Tasha. That's one of the first things we did. She was running all of this online marketing, and I was like, okay, we're going to stop doing that. She spent $0 on marketing, right? And I just said, we're going to stop doing all this because we're not ready for amplification yet. We need to figure out how to sell this thing to begin with. Cool? So we have 4 phases. And the way that I coach is really broken into these 4 project phases that guide you through building all 5 of those client creation pillars that I showed you here today. So project 1, this looks pretty familiar, right? This is kind of what we just went over. Project 1 is your core offer. Project 2 is your conversion. That's where we're going to go into your connection and conversion pillars. Project 3 is your continuity. And project 4 is your amplification campaign. All right. And really what we're going to do in phase 1 is we're going to take a look at that unstoppable core offer, and we're going to use what I call the market match matrix. Yes, Pam, I will definitely email you with the replay because I think you probably just got through on my personal page. So we're going to go from messaging to everyone to messaging to somebody. All right. We're also going to make sure that there's a lot of meaning behind that messaging so that we go from being part of the noise to having a standout method. And because we want strong measurable results for our clients, right? Who wants strong measurable results for our clients? Absolutely. We're going to go from that uncertainty so that we know that they're helping them, but they know that you're helping them. And they want to shout it from the rooftops. They want to tell everyone, right? We don't need the affiliates, and we don't need all these other things to tell them how great they are. Like, everyone is just going to want to tell everyone how great you are. Then we're going to move into phase 2. So phase 2 is conversion. This is where we're going to take a look at the connection triangle. So this is where we go from the, hey, I just met you, to the call me maybe, right? The 5D Loving Sales formula is going to help you to go from convincing people to buy to really getting those people on the phone who are ready to buy, and then walking them and leading them through that process so that we're not leaving the call on a maybe, we're leaving the call on a hell yes or a hell no, right? And then we've got the follow-up framework. So that's also, if we just have to leave the call in a maybe they're a collector, maybe they just need more information, maybe they need to talk to their spouse, and that's totally legitimate, right? My husband would kill me if I signed up for something and spent lots of money without talking to him, right? But we're going to create that framework for follow-up so that we're not just letting them go and be this little lost puppy. Corbin agrees. Phase 3, we're going to create the autopilot continuity process. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the rapid referral approach. This is where we're going to take you from hunting down leads to gathering qualified prospects. Okay, And then we're going to walk you through the life or experience. So this is where you're going from a constant turnover of clients, so working with people on an hour by hour basis, to creating that solid, steady base so that you can look into the future and you can say, I already have this much booked over the next 6 months. Now I know I can spend money on marketing, right? Now I know that I can do this thing because I have this revenue coming in every month, because when I sell something to someone, they're working with me for 6 months or 12 months or 18 months instead of for 2 hours. And then we're going to move into the automation activator. So this is where we go from administrative overwhelm to a lot more flow and ease in the business. Now we have the stuff figured out, we can start to automate it. Okay. And then the last phase is to amplify. So now that we've got all our ish figured out, we're going to start to push it out with a lot more gumption. Right? We're going to start to connect in with those things that we've already discovered our clients want. We're going to take them from being in dreamland to realizing it can happen even for them. We're going to also go from being dismissed quite often to being highly influential. And we're going to go from underwhelmed prospects to prospects who are lined up around the block and who want to work with you. And you know that you can at any time be like, okay, it's your turn. And they're like, okay, yay, I've waited months for this, right? So your profitable campaign is that last piece of the puzzle. Now, here's the caveat here. I only work with people that I really love and who are ready and willing to do the work, okay? Because if you don't do the work, you can't see that change and that shift. And so sometimes we need to go through one part of this process multiple times. We might get through your core offer and then you get into selling it and you're like, ooh, this isn't working, and we go back to core offer, right? And that's okay. That's totally okay. But if you're ready to begin closing high ticket packages so that you can stop chasing people, right? And really be present in your own life again. And if you're willing to take the first step in accepting help so that you can focus your time in impacting others rather than throwing marketing tactics against the wall to see what sticks, right? That's when you're going to hire Marcy, right? She knows what worked. You can just hire her. If you're a high performer who's ready to gain clarity on the steps you need in order to simplify your business and fall back in love with your work, then here's what I ask you to do is to just simply apply. We're going to get on the phone together and we're going to make sure that you are a fit. And we're going to go through what I like to call a client hatching really strategy call. Okay. So we're going to dive into the strategy and I'm going to make sure that the system is going to work for you. Because if it doesn't work for you, then my promises to you is that I'm going to lovingly release you off the phone and probably hook you up with somebody else who's a better fit for you and your business. Okay. And I think that's really, really important. So here's the bonus as well. If you want to begin on your journey right away, if you're like, oh man, I want to keep going with this, I've got momentum, I don't want to take 2 weeks off for holidays and start in 2018, then when you apply, you are going to receive my Master Your Objection Handling mini course. And that mini course is going to cover the top sales objections. Molly also agrees. That's the other dog. It's going to help you to walk through how to create your loving objection handling script so that you can close with more ease and serve your clients at your highest level. So what that means is that when you get those clients on the call, you're going to have these kind of scripts already prepared in front of you so that you know how to handle things like, oh, I can't afford it, or oh, I need to talk to my spouse, or oh, I need to think about it, or call me after the holidays, right? We're going to be able to handle that right there. So there's the link at the bottom there. It's clienthatchingformula.com/apply. Here's the process, right? So this is just to make sure that we're a fit. So after you fill out your application, if it looks like we can help you, then I will personally contact you to set up a client creation strategy call. And then if on that call we both feel that there's a fit, at the end of the call, I'll ask you if you want to hear a little bit more about what it looks like for us to work together. And we can take a look at what your budget is and what suits your budget in terms of moving forward at that time. So thank you guys so much for being here with me. I'm actually late for my next call for my intensive bitches with my friends for our joint offerings. And then I don't want to be too late for that because or else I'm going to be late for my coaching call with Anna, and we don't want that either. So I thank you guys so much for being here. I thank you so much. I'm so sorry about Molly in the background here. She's going a little bit nutso. Maybe the mailman's here or something, but If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. You all have, I think, my email address. So feel free to email me there. And it was a pleasure getting to spend this time in December with you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.